Hey, you. Yeah, you. Are you looking for speed, excitement, entertainment at 200 miles per hour? Then you've come to the right place on YouTube, and you're in for one hell of a show. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Elite Racing League. I'm Alexander Ned, and I'm joined in the booth by Rich Kaslaw, and we're excited to officially kick off the second season of the year on iRacing, beginning with the Lintz Creative Web Development and Graphic Design class at the iRacing Superspeedway. Tonight, we'll describe 50 laps of the heart-pounding action, but in order to get to the checkered flag first, you're going to have to follow some rules. Rich, what can we expect for tonight's drivers heading out?
Well, Alex, first of all, it's great to be back here with this Cup Series. Always exciting racing that we've got going on. But yeah, it's a little bit of a different formula we got here tonight. First of all, the biggest news, switching over to the 2022 next-gen NASCAR's Cup Series cars. So we're going to talk about those all night here because this is the first official league race that we're running with these. But there are also a couple of specific rules. So first of all, we've got 14 drivers locked into this clash because of the pole positions that they earned during the 2021 A season. Next, we've got a pretty interesting little format here, if I get that correct. So we've got three segments, the first one being 20 laps, the second 20 laps as well, and the final one being just a 10-lap segment. All of the drivers must do a 4-tire green flag pit stop in that second segment as well. So some interesting rules here. We're going to have to keep and pay attention to all that. But looking forward to seeing how these cars race. And in fact, speaking of how these cars race, we're actually joined here by Zach Evans, who will also be calling our Truck Series races on Sundays. But Zach, you raced in the Open earlier today. Talk to us about what these cars behave like on this racetrack, a very unique combination that we're not used to seeing in real life for sure.
It's definitely a very unique combination. Probably the first thing that jumped out to us when we were getting ready for the Open is unlike most of the cars that run here at the iRacing Superspeedway, you still have the spacer implemented on the next-gen car. So that does bring down the speeds a little bit. You're still looking at 195 miles per hour, give or take, when you're drafting in the big packs that we're going to see here tonight. But definitely it changes your mindset and game plan as you're ripping around the high banks here at iRacing Superspeedway.
So tonight is an all-star field with even bigger star power at the drop of the green flag. And Rich, why don't you walk us through some of the special people we have tonight?
Absolutely. Well, we'll first go through, of course, our Elite Racing League ringers. Of course, all of these drivers know how to get the job done over the course of one lap, as they proved it last season. Our pole sitter you see there in the number 19 car, David Tooker. Lining up alongside him is Presley Sora. On the second row, we'll have Jared Rexing and Thomas Sherman. Then up to the third row, we got Jeff Green and Ethan Burrell. Fourth row is Colin Fern and Alexander Vandesant. The fifth row, Scott Crump, Josh Robin. Sixth row, Gerald Campbell, Chris Wright, and Joshua Adams and Johnny Thomas make up that seventh row. But you mentioned it, we've got a couple of real-life ringers in here. And, well, those names are Connor Daly and Kyle Busch. Excited to have those guys racing here tonight. Both of them made the clash, and we're looking forward to seeing how they run over the course of this event.
Now, Zach, this is an interesting racetrack. This is not like Daytona or Talladega. What is the difference that perhaps some of our viewers at home don't know between those two real-life tracks and this one that's on the iRacing world?
So the allure, so to speak, with the iRacing Superspeedway, 3 miles long, very long, insanely long straightaways, 36 degrees of banking into corners. It really takes all of the attributes that people love about Talladega or Daytona and ramps them up to 11. That's what really makes this place a lot of fun to watch. Wide, sweeping corners. Granted, in the Open, it tended to be a lot of single file as guys who were in a safe spot to transfer wanted to protect that property. But I think we're going to see a much wilder race coming up here in the Clash.
As we had mentioned before, we are going to have 3 different segments. First is going to be 20 laps. The second, also 20 laps. The winner of each of those will start first for that all-important 10-lap round to the finish. During that second segment, though, we will actually, I was just told today, we will not have a green flag set of pit stops there. That was just released a couple moments ago, so we will not expect that. But no matter what, from the drop of the green flag to the end, we're going to see these guys racing and giving it their all.
Yeah, it's still going to be very interesting racing here. Again, the first race in this next-gen car, so everything's completely different. The car itself drives very differently to that Gen 6 car that all these guys are used to from the past couple of seasons that we've run, so big learning curve here in terms of switching over. Of course, a different track that most of these guys haven't really practiced on, so a lot of unknowns heading into this race. And, man, I'm just looking forward to getting this season kicked off, and we're just one corner away from doing just that.
So excited to have you. I want to give a shout-out to our today's sponsor as well, Lintz Professional Web Development and Graphic. They are essential to giving us the show that we're about to put on, and the pace car is about to head in. David Tooker about to bring a new season to life for Elite Racing League. The green flag is out. We are racing at iRacing Speedway.
Yeah, instantly you see there the bump draft from Jared Rexing behind David Tooker, and now Rexing starting to peek to the bottom, seeing if he can make the move into turn number 1. Tooker already loses that bottom lane. He's going to try and pick up that top. Again, expect racing similar to Talladega, and there you go. David Tooker falling back already after he loses any kind of support from behind.
Right, now you're kind of on pins and needles as we see them fan out mid-pack 3 wide. Ooh, one car briefly got a little bit loose and dancy here, but Zach, what are you feeling inside the race car for these first couple laps? What are you trying to do with other competitors at over 200 miles an hour?
Right now, you're just trying to find a spot where you can ride, especially the steering on these next-gen cars is just, it just feels weird, for lack of a better word. You're so used to running the older style cars. The steering systems on these next-gen cars are completely different, even the way you set them up, even in a fix-up race with the steering ratio versus just everything about it is completely different. Right now, you're just trying to figure out how to make this car settle into the corners without making any sudden movements and giving away speed, or worse, putting yourself in position to crash.
So Scott Crump is going to lead that freight train well over 190 plus into the corner. And about 7 or 8 cars single file on that bottom lane. A lot of shuffling, though, mid-pack. Will we see that outside line begin to emerge?
Yeah, we'll dive back here to this 11 car. Kyle Busch right now running in the 6th position. Overall, had a good start there, getting himself up the order, and you can see, yeah, like you're saying, that bottom lane right now seems to be pretty dominant. No one really kind of filing into that top lane, trying to make that work. We got a couple of guys trying it out. You see David Tooker falling all the way back to 12th position, right now lining up with teammate Ethan Burrell, also behind, I believe that's Scott Crump on the outside with the two of them.
At the stripe there, we've already had 2 lead changes, and this is only the 3rd lap. Was Scott Crump there. Now Jared Rexing in that 10 car there leads Jeff Green and Josh Robin up front, but here comes the move to the high side. The 11 of Kyle Busch poked out just a little bit, and he had some help from the 21.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at that 21 car. I believe just kind of quickly ducks out. I believe that's William Harrington there. So he's going to duck out, get behind Kyle Busch, and now this top lane has a lot of momentum behind it. Kyle Busch leading the way, and they're going to try and steam up here on Jared Rexing. They're going to need a little bit more help, though, to get up there.
Zach, I'm noticing a little bit of that transition from the backstretch to turn 3, especially on the bottom line. It kind of jumps the car out of the groove. It looks like it's kind of unsettled. Do you kind of feel that while you're seesawing the wheel there on iRacing?
Going into 3 isn't as bad or as unnerving as coming out of 4. The car really wants to dart to the left coming out of 4, and it really puts you in danger of honestly driving yourself onto the apron. Saw a lot of sketchy moments in the open with that. Already seeing it a couple of times here as well. For some reason, it's not as bad off of 2, but off of 4, the car just really wants to jump to the left, and it really creates some hairy situations.
So now side-by-side battle. Kyle Busch leading that charge on that outside lane. How cool is that to say? A guy that actually won the Clash in the real world here back in 2020 on the road course edition. And you see, wow, look at that. A big shuffle, and almost got the 37 of Ethan Burrell out of shape.
Yeah, you see there, just back there, if we go back, the 90 car of Scott Crump kind of involved in that. Ethan Burrell involved in that as well. And these guys all losing a ton of momentum, going to fall all the way back here. You see this outside lane completely falls apart. And they've got a lot of work to do here. They can kind of kiss any good performance in this first segment goodbye, I think. They're going to have to focus later for that second and third segments. Scott Crump still struggling here as he's running 3 wide with Tyler Dixon on the inside. And on the bottom there, the 97 there, not quite sure actually who that is, as not all the numbers are fully updated here according to iRacing.
Oh, one car there below the yellow line. And I don't know what is typical here. I know at Daytona and Talladega, we talk about that double yellow line, how you treat that as an out of bounds. Is that necessarily the same case here at iRacing Superspeedway?
I can confirm, to quote our good friend in race control, Ethan Reasoner, the yellow line rule is in effect tonight for the Clash, and it was for the Open. So if you advance your position below that solid yellow line, you're going to get a talking to.
All right, and probably some unhappy people either in front or behind you as well, so you have to get on the brakes. Up front, Jared Rexing continue to lead Jeff Green, the 2000 Xfinity Series champion, and Chris Wright in that 20 car. All that momentum that we saw once we saw that issue in turn number 3 has now made it a single file race, working lap number 6 of 50, but only, 14 laps to go in this segment.
Yeah, you can see here Kyle Busch kind of peeking his nose out a little bit, and there you go. He's got some support in front. I believe that's Thomas Sherman there in that Ford Mustang, and Kyle Busch is going to follow Sherman up to that second lane. They've also got Connor Daly as well joining there. So Sherman leading Kyle Busch and Connor Daly on the top line. Certainly a very star-studded top line we've got there. Ethan Burrell joining them as well. So they're trying to make some forward momentum here as well. We'll see again if this progress works. We haven't seen this top line quite work so far this race here as we're running lap 7 already. They're running a little bit far behind, and Busch actually dives out and gives up on that lane. And there you go. Thomas Sherman's going to fall back a number of positions.
I saw he was given a couple of nudges there. Let's see. That was one car that got really out of shape there on the high side, now getting back in line. I believe that was a Harrison Talon there that definitely had a handful there coming out too.
Yeah, thankfully there was no car on the outside there, and that 26 Wonder Bread Scream is going to go to the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Busch. I know Harrison Talon, he's a big Kyle Busch fan there, but I definitely think he wants to beat him. But right now, he's going to need a little bit more help and stability in that race car if that's going to be the case.
Absolutely. There you see Harrison Talon kind of losing some positions there. You can see maybe even a little bit of damage on the rear quarter panel. Let's take a look at the it'll actually be the let's take a look. The left rear suspension there, yeah, I think there's a little bit of damage there on that left rear quarter panel of Harrison Talon, so maybe got hit by another car that led to him getting a little bit out of shape and losing all that momentum, and you can see just how much time he's lost in those first 2 corners to the likes of Kyle Busch and David Tooker and Connor Daly.
Starting to see a little bit of separation. That front pack has been able to work its way now, I believe, just about 12 or 13 cars. But wow, that transition, it just really kicks off that car. To me, as a viewer there, it just looks very unsettling right there. And you saw what happened to Harrison there as well. When you have such sudden momentum loss, it has kicked him all the way back to 13th outside of that lead pack.
Yeah, Harrison Talon, you can see they've done a good job, Harrison, working with Ethan Burrell to kind of stay in touch with the rest of these guys here, but they're operating just a little bit further back. Meanwhile, you've got the second pack really separated from the rest of that lead pack, and they've got some work to do, especially in this particular segment of the race. They got to work together here to try and get back up towards the lead pack because right now they are losing a ton of time.
So right now, though, we know as we see a slow car there to the outside, looks like he'll give way. There's Kyle Busch and Connor Daly. Jeff Green, he was running in the second position, and something amiss with our 2000 Xfinity Series champion. He is way off the pace at 50 miles an hour in turn 3.
Yeah, not too sure what happened here to Jeff Green. We're going to stay under green flag racing, though I'm not entirely sure. Let's see if we can head back to the replay. Take a look and see if there's any kind of evidence. I didn't see any physical damage to that 38 car, so kind of surprising. Like you said, was running it very well.
Was that an issue, perhaps overheating? Did he cook the engine? He's been tucked underneath Jared Rexing in that 10 car for quite some time.
Let's take a look here. See if there's anything that we notice on this number 38 of Jeff Green. Oh, yep, there you go.
There
That
it
puff
is.
of
That's
smoke.
exactly what happened.
Wow.
And let me tell you, I know from our preseason testing at Daytona, it did not take long for these next-gen cars to get hot if you were tucked underneath somebody like that. And sadly, it appears that's exactly what happened to Jeff Green.
So now the question remains, how long can you push, and what do you decide to do here? We didn't see anything really substantial on Jeff Green, but perhaps he had been doing a lot of pushing. He was behind the 10 car, and we now have a new leader, the 20 of Chris Wright, has been able to take the lead away. But yeah, that's very interesting. An engine failure, then kind of heartbreak for Jeff Green, who was having a good run here so far to begin that clash.
Yeah, well, that's lap 10 here is where that engine failure hit Jeff Green. So, like Zach was saying, this is something these guys are going to have to really look out for, especially with the Daytona 500 coming up. I mean, you cannot afford to overheat these cars even slightly, and it looks like it happens so easily. Going to be very careful in terms of the way you drive these cars and how you draft and how you work with other drivers around you. So really changes the complexion of these types of racing with the less of an ability to really push guys around the racetrack.
Go ahead there, Zach. Sorry.
No, you're good. It's just that's definitely something. I mean, I know I'm getting ready for the 500 here in a couple of weeks. Is my rookie season, so to speak, with the Cup Series, and trust me, I'm taking a lot of notes here and noticing that and saying, man, that's something you're gonna have to keep an eye on both tonight and moving forward at the Daytonas and Talladegas of the world.
All right, see a little bit of separation there. Kyle Busch hanging along the 6th position, just behind our reigning series champ. That would be Jared Campbell right there in the 31 car, doing a great job there inside the top 5.
Here's what it looks like from the bumper of Chris Wright's car there. That's just how close Jared Rexon got heading into turn 3 here, and let's see just how close he gets heading down this front straightaway.
Hopefully not too close there, because we saw what happened with Jeff Green. I think he took that to heart. Something that's up for grabs here, what might get kind of dicey for these guys, is that the winner of this stage is going to start on the front row for that 10-lap segment. So we're going to see action and business start to pick up here for these guys. Chris Wright continuing to lead in front as the 10 car. Jared Rexing is right behind him with the 66. That'd be William Harrington. Still single file, but here comes the move by the 6 car. That's Connor Daly, the IndyCar driver, doing a great job so far, leading a charge on that outside lane.
Yeah, you can see there Ethan Burrell happy to join him up there. I think we've seen Ethan kind of follow just about anybody up to that top lane, trying to make something work. David Tooker, Ethan Burrell, both working together, and they're going to get right onto the rear bumper of that number 6 car, try and get some forward momentum here. Again, we've seen this multiple times, but you need a lot of help to make this top lane work, and there's only so much help that you can really offer with just how quickly these engines overheat, as we saw with Jeff Green. So, man, it's a tough race to pass here. It seems to be the situation just because of, how little that top lane's, how ineffective that top lane seems to be.
Definitely mirroring what we saw in the Open, and we even have Fence Line Films in the YouTube chat saying the same thing. The top line needs a lot of help. Ethan definitely doing everything he can to help Connor on that top lane, even giving a little bit of a bump draft here as we go into the corner. But I think they're going to need even more help still to really make it effective.
Here comes our pole sitter there, the 19 of David Tooker, who is a teammate as they get Connor Daly, and they're in the wall. Ethan Burrell and the 19 are out of it hard out of turn number 4, and that will bring out our first caution flag as David Tooker is hit again.
Yeah, those two Pro Edge Racing teammates taken out by each other there. Ethan Burrell, David Tooker, both of them are out of this race, and we'll head back to this replay. Take a look and see what we can find with this particular incident. Man, oh man, that's brutal though. Again, you're racing for a lot here in this particular event, but man, that is rough.
Our pole sitter here trying to make something happen with his teammate Ethan Burrell, and it all went away in a big way. They're pushing. Take a look at that 6 car. They're pushing out of turn 4. He got a little bit loose. And then, David just caught the right quarter panel of the 37, and there was nowhere for him to go.
Yeah, let's see if we can potentially find Some onboard images here from these guys. See if there's any kind of yeah, man, that's brutal for both of them.
No, they both entered here with high hopes. Definitely wanted to put Pro Edge on top there, and they had obviously cars that could do it there. David putting that car on the pole, so an early exit for that team. And if there's anybody that you don't want to hit, it's your teammate.
Absolutely. Here we are on board with Tucker, and there you see just, yeah, tough to really put that on either of them, but man, oh man, that's so easy for that. And there you see that hard second hit for David Tucker.
Yeah, I don't know. There was somebody else that we'll have to see, and that had some serious damage with that as well. It was not just the 37 and the 19. Somebody broadsided the 19 with major front-end damage as well. So
looks like Chris Wilhite there, I think.
Yeah, and perhaps in the 16.
So
unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. Pit road is going to be a busy place, though. Here, talk to me about tire wear, Zach. Was that an issue that you saw in the open, or do you perhaps stay out for a strategy call and elect not to pit during this first segment break that was coming up in about 3 laps?
You know, the open tire wear wasn't super noticeable, but that was also only 20 laps. I think everybody was pretty content to just ride those tires the whole way and maintain that track position. We've seen how hard it is to pass here, but especially if you know you might have to take fuel at some point during these 50 laps, this might be a good chance to go ahead, get on pit road if you don't think you're going to be in a shot to win this stage and lock that front row spot, and give yourself a chance to go for it in stage 2 and go the rest of the way.
So working our first caution flag for a grinding incident out of turn number 4. No change up front, though. The 20 of Chris Wright looking to try and lock down a key starting position to begin that final segment with the 66 car on his outside. Now, we do know that the leader can elect to start on the inside or outside. We've seen that inside line, though, be the one with the dominant force. So we'll see as that pace car, I believe, is going to take that turn down. Oh, no, we'll have one more lap. Oh, no, we're going green this time. Sorry, just kidding. We're working up the kinks in the booth ourselves, too.
Absolutely. Brushing off the dust there just a little bit. Pace car is off the racetrack. We'll head back to green flag racing. It is Chris Wright on the bottom lane with William Harrington on the top, but immediately that number 98 car, Presley Sora, goes below the yellow line trying to get by. I wonder if that pass is going to be allowed. Kyle Busch, though, following the 98, passed on that bottom lane and taking over, pushing Chris Wright out of the way on that bottom lane.
He was kind of forced down there.
Well, I think they're going to have to also see if that was a lane change before the start-finish line. I think there's going to be a lot to look at for race control on that restart for the 98.
I know somebody who wants that call to be made. It will be the driver of the 11 of Kyle Busch, because he would inherit the lead perhaps on that bottom lane. He gives the position back, though. Chris Wright jumps in front of the 98. Does that clear himself with race control at the stripe? It will be 3 laps to go, and Chris Wright back to the point. But the 98 car will be black flagged, and you see he's heading in right there. You are absolutely right there, Zach. That move not going to be legal in the eyes of iRacing Control, and he will have to serve a pass-through penalty. Up front, Chris Wright wrestles the lead once again away from the 11 of Kyle Busch, but here comes the charge in that outside line. William Harrington trying to fight back.
Yeah,
We've seen the side draft be really one tool you can use if you get up on the outside in these cars. Definitely William Harrington trying desperately to make that work and get anything going on that top line as we get ready to end this stage.
And now we're seeing even numbers in both lanes, and actually that top side with a big push from Connor Daly in that 6 car. He throws the 66 car to the lead, and we have a new leader, William Harrington, at the stripe. 2 laps to go in segment 1.
Yeah, William Harrington looking really good. Not a name that we're familiar with in this Cup Series at all, but man, oh man, he's putting on a show here in his very first Cup Series appearance. At least I believe it's his very first. I don't recall him taking part last season, but man, what a show he's putting on here in this first segment of the Clash. Right now fighting it out with Chris Wright, Kyle Busch here. 21 car, I believe, as well. There is Oh no, that's Andrew Rucker in that 21. So, yeah, really competitive here. But now we're starting to see that single file again. So maybe the first couple of laps we're getting guys double file and triple file. But oh man,
look at that move! Kyle Busch sent it into the back of the 20 car, and they passed William Harrington like he was standing still. My goodness! Now the 20 car out with the good 1 car length lead in front of Kyle Busch, and they are going to end the segment with 1 more lap. Kyle Busch on the back bumper of the 20 car.
Expect Kyle Busch to go for it. We know Kyle Busch is gonna, he's here. He's having some fun this week, but we know he's gonna try and go for it. Obviously wants to get that final victory, but these segment victories are also going to be important. We've seen just how aggressive he's been and smart with just how well he's been racing here at this iRacing Superspeedway. So here we go, just 1 back straightaway and 2 more corners to go. It really looks like it's a 3-horse race between Chris Wright, Kyle Busch, and Andrew Rucker.
Chevy, Toyota, Ford, that is the top 3 as Rucker goes to the outside in that 21 car that bottlenecks the 21 as the 20 changed lanes right there.
Yeah, Chris Wright goes to the top lane. I think a little bit of contact between the 66 and it might be Andrew Rucker who's heading towards the front here. Let's head back to this front. It's Chris Wright.
Going to be close as Andrew Rucker gets a big block and a shove by Kyle Busch. They hit once. They're going to crash.
And it's William Harrington across the line in the first position as they glide across the line.
Oh, no.
No, that's going to take out a number of competitors, including Kyle Busch in that 11 car.
Wow. Here we go. We'll head towards, and there you see the damage, and the car's upside down as well.
Car's upside down. Oh, no.
Ooh.
That Josh Adams.
That is terrible.
Let's head back to that replay here and take a look and see just what happened here. A lot of cars involved in that wreck. And Josh Adams actually coming into that a little bit later as a unfortunately innocent bystander. It all starts here heading down this back straightaway. And watch there as you see the 66 gets a little bit loose. So it's Andrew Rucker who kind of bumps the 20, and that kind of starts this entire domino effect. Rucker gets involved. Kyle Busch gets involved. You're going to see there's the 95 of Josh Adams getting flipped over in a rough accident there. Looks like the 28 of Josh Clark gets some damage. He might escape relatively okay, though. But, man, oh, man, a big accident there to finish this first segment.
Yeah, no, that's unfortunate for Kyle Busch, who was kind of in a safe position right there with 2 leaders in front of him. But often at tracks like Daytona, Talladega, and this one on iRacing Superspeedway, when the leaders have a problem, it becomes everyone's problem. There was nowhere to go for most of the field.
Probably the most frustrating part to see here is, I mean, we know how important it was for guys to try and get that front row spot for the final stage, but now how many of these guys won't even make it to the second stage because of how damaged they are from this incident?
Yeah, look at that. Just a ton of cars involved in that. Lots of cars just strewn across this front straightaway. There's going to be a lot of damage that they're going to have to deal with, and here we go. Everyone's going to peel down pit road now. We'll take a look and see what exactly this pecking order looks like once we get ready to start this next stage here. The winner of this first segment, though, we should give him credit, was in fact William Harrington. We saw him cross that line, so a great job there surviving that kind of melee at the end there, and yeah, very, very impressive.
And I think here you're going to see some of the guys who stayed out before that caution around lap 15 or so. They're pitting now, and a couple of guys who maybe pitted there and somehow survived that melee are gonna, try to change things up and start up front here. It looks like we're gonna have Johnny Thomas leading the way right now with Jared Rexing and Josh Robin also near the front. I believe is that Ethan I see hanging out there in the back as well?
Yeah, he may have. Being involved in that first little skirmish might have saved him there. I know there's still a lot of damage on these race cars and still racing the next gen. The damage model, though, very much complete, and you will need to fix a lot of damage that we saw. Some crucial areas were damaged in that crash from a lot of competitors, so I just don't see a lot of those guys that were involved being easy to make their way back up to the front.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work. I'm curious, Zach, if you might know just how much how much damage really incapacitates you at a track like this with these new cars. Are we talking about a big accident and you're still kind of able to run like we've seen with the previous gen Cup cars, or are a lot of these guys pretty much out of this race?
Unfortunately, I can't really say for certain yet. I know one thing for sure, and that these cars have a huge aero dependency as far as we saw it a little bit there with that second line when Will Harrington was able to clear his way up front. Immediately, that second line fell apart because where Connor Daly was in his toe, as soon as he lost that toe, you could see that his speed immediately drop off. That's been a very common thing with these cars. I can only imagine that would be exasperated with, say, front fender damage on the right or left side, or even bumper damage. But it honestly feels like a parachute is coming out of your car when somebody pulls out from in front of you like that, and suddenly you're hitting all that air.
Oh, we are cleaning up segment 1 here. To the big one taking place at iRacing Speedway. Before we go back to green for segment 2, we want to remind you that today's racing coverage is presented to you by Lintz Creative Web Development and Graphic Design. Lintz is a professional web development and graphic firm located in South Bend, Indiana. Their designs have been featured for local businesses and professional motorsports. You can check them out at lintzcreative.com. Well, segment 2 going to be underway here. What did we learn from that first segment, and how do we apply to that for the second?
Well, from my end here, it's really going to be survival. I mean, we talk about that at the tracks like Daytona and Talladega, but I mean, I don't believe there's a ton on the line here for these segment wins. We see guys going very aggressively for them. Realistically, you're just trying to be there for those final 10 laps, be in contention for those final 10 laps. I wouldn't put as much, emphasis on the segment wins like we saw there in that first segment. So, expect the overall winner to be maybe a guy who took it easy in these first 2 segments, but we'll see as we get this second one here underway.
Yeah, perhaps only 6 or 7 cars not damaged after beginning with 27, and the green flag is back out with the 91 car up front. Both of these fan out as Jared Rexing gets back to form in that second position. That's Johnny Thomas leading.
Having to learn some of these new cars. I mean, obviously, it's the next-gen machines. We're seeing the cars themselves for the first time, but lots of new teams, new numbers, new paint schemes. Having to learn some of these drivers that we know, but we have to learn what they're driving all over again.
Absolutely. So used to that kind of green and white Manscaped car for Johnny Thomas. Looks completely different now. Not even a Ford anymore. So a very different situation for a lot of these drivers. And I know as well for those of us looking at timing and scoring, the numbers that you see on the cars themselves don't necessarily match the numbers on timing and scoring, and that just might be some of the old numbers from last season transferring over here. But we'll have that all sorted out for sure once we get back to the Daytona 500. Again, everybody here involved in this Elite Racing League kind of brushing off those cobwebs, getting ready to get back underway here. Meanwhile, it is Jared Rexing and Josh Robin now leading the way. Rexing's been strong here over the course of this event. He's kind of been in that contention for the entire event so far. Look out for this number 10 car. Rexing, a lot to prove here, and always looks strong, especially in these new cars now.
And running a familiar paint scheme. I remember that paint scheme in the Xfinity series. There was Nesquik right on top, kind of a throwback to that. So it's cool to see some of these next generation paint schemes running some throwback schemes already. You're seeing what is left of our lead pack there, and at the tail end, in 9th place is William Harrington. I wanted to ask you there, Zach, is there really any, what would you call, just point in him even trying to race this segment? Should he just protect his car and prepare, as he already knows he'll be starting on the front row for that third and final segment?
I'd probably be doing exactly what he's doing right now. Just ride, stay out of trouble, stay clean, especially at this point. He's already lost a draft. With these cars, he's going to have a hard time getting in unless he tries to hitch on to the pack of cars coming up behind him with guys like Brandon Key and Alex Van der Sant. Even then, I'd probably be really tempted to just give him the old Mark Martin finger point out the left side window. Come on by, boys. I'll catch y'all next time.
Definitely running a smart race so far. Sometimes the best place on the racetrack is by yourself. taking a look at some of the other competitors that were involved in that big one. I don't even know who that is. Is that Kyle Busch?
That is Kyle Busch and
Kyle
Harrison Talon. Yeah, those two guys both involved in incidents in that first segment. You can see them right now running and lacking some of that straight line speed that we're seeing from some other cars here. Kyle Busch, no front end on that car, and with what Zach was saying about the aero dependencies of that car, I can imagine that's not driving super well.
I mean, you see on the graphic there, it was just barely getting up to 180. That's putting him probably at least 10 to 15 miles per hour slower than our leaders as they get to the end of the straightaways.
Yeah, here you can see Jared Rexing 196, 197 down the back straightaway. I think we were seeing 177 from Kyle Busch, so nearly 20 miles an hour or so slower than the rest of these guys. Obviously, they've got some draft help, but man, oh man, that damage does a lot to these drivers.
Yeah, that car didn't even look like it could get up to 177. I think that was being optimistic, but apparently as we see a little bit of a glitch out of the 54 car there, no harm, no foul, but yeah, not a good day, unfortunately, for Kyle Busch. His vacation has looked, however, ecstatic. So not so much on the iRacing world there, but definitely check him out on the Instagram if you've not heard or seen Kyle Busch. He has had me in stitches this entire Olympic break.
Yeah, it's been intriguing to watch the drivers let loose there for a little bit. Kind of not focus so much on racing for some of them, and some of them still going out to their local dirt tracks. And of course, we highly recommend those of you who are missing your NASCAR, first of all, follow the Elite Racing Network, because we're just getting ready to get back underway here. And we can get you some of your NASCAR action, but of course go out to your local short track as well. Support them. There's always going to be a race going on there every weekend, I'm sure. So you can certainly stay in touch with all of your stock car racing. And Zach, I'm sure you've got some advice on that as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, first and foremost, if you've got a local track, go there for sure. Naturally, as somebody involved with Speed 51, if you can't make it to the track, we've got 6 races you can watch right there on Speed51.tv this weekend. So that's a good alternative plan if you need one. But we'll have 6 races in 6 different states this weekend, dirt, pavement, whatever you'd like to see. But first and foremost, we want to see race fans in grandstands. So if you can make it to a local track this weekend while there's no NASCAR action, do it, please. You will not regret it.
That you will not. Up front, Jared Rexing continuing to lead Josh Robin. See Johnny Thomas as well. It's a J, so at least for the first 3 cars. A little bit of double wide action though. 6th place, make that 5th place as 2 competitors are working to the outside. That's Connor Daly, the IndyCar guy, to the inside of the 25. I believe that is Presley Sora as well. Or excuse me, that's Jacob Adams.
Yeah, Jacob Adams there, side by side with Connor Daly. This has been a fun little battle here to watch, which you've got Connor Daly, Jacob Adams, Presley Sora, and Michael Goodman all involved in this one. We're kind of running 2 by 2 a little bit there. They've kind of now spread out into a single file, and that's really what this lead pack is. This top 8 group separated pretty significantly from the rest of the pack. The second pack led by number 92 Chad Thornquist here, and you can see just 4 cars, but they're 6 seconds behind, and then behind this next group of 4, 9 seconds back from them, the single car of Gerald Campbell, another 9 seconds back, Chris Wright, and we start getting into the groups of really just individual cars here, just trying to catch up.
Of course, Gerald Campbell, our reigning and defending JoinAPS Cup Series champion here in Elite. Will be interesting to see. Obviously, not a whole lot going on for him at the moment, but definitely looking forward to see how he does in 2021B as he starts that title defense with the Daytona 500 in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. It's going to be really intriguing. Obviously, some changes here, moving over to the next-gen car, but also this team moving over to Ford Mustangs. Traditionally, Gerald Campbell always seen in a Chevy Camaro, so a new manufacturer there to work with, and of course that's going to mean maybe some different manufacturer alliances, especially at big tracks like this. He's still, of course, running that number 31 that he's won 2 championships with. But yeah, absolutely cannot wait to see what Gerald Campbell does here. Had a great mentality last season, was super consistent, loved those short tracks especially. Of course, that win at Talladega late in the season, getting him through to the round of 9 and then advancing on to win the championship. It was a great season, and he's hoping that he can follow it up, but I believe we've never had a repeat champion here in the Elite Racing JoinAPS Cup Series, so he's got a tall order ahead of him.
And let's be honest, he's heard all the criticisms after the way the championship race unfolded. He's heard plenty of people say it was a fluke or there should be an asterisk beside it, which is nonsense, by the way. Let me put my editorial comment out there. He won the championship. End of discussion. But trust me, I know he wants to go and win another one that nobody can question.
Looking forward to seeing what he can do here in just 1 week's time. We have the Clash with Skew next Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern time. That'll be on YouTube as well. And then just 2 short weeks, the Daytona 500. That'll be at 8 p.m. So mark your calendars now. I'm already salivating to see these next-gen cars fight it out in the World Center of Racing. But before we get there, we got to finish up this segment right here. Jared Rexing so far has been able to hold on to the lead. Josh Robert and Johnny Thomas are right behind him. What are they learning perhaps behind that 10 car, and can they get in front? I'm trying to look at the manufacturers there. It looks like we have one Ford sandwiched in between 2 bow ties, make it 3. So if I'm Josh Robin, I'm pretty sure I don't have very many friends in front or behind me.
Yeah, I think right now, especially these guys, you're probably still another 3 or 4 laps away from really trying to make a move. We saw how that first stage ended. None of these guys up here, if you survive that issue, you're not trying to create another one for yourself right here. Just get to the final stage, and then we can figure out who's going to win this thing.
Yeah, they're about to come up on a lap car here, who I believe will give way. I didn't expect him to be in the groove right there, and yes, he does move so, but that outside line, Adams doing everything he can, I believe, to try and lead a charge and perhaps get some more people to jump up with him. This is only an 8-car pack.
Yeah, you got Presley Sora trying to make that top line work. You had Jacob Adams with him, but now Adams ducks back down to the bottom lane, and Presley Sora is going to lose all that track position there. Maybe, again, a little bit of help there from Connor Daly as Daly tries to see what he can do. He makes it 3 wide. Not sure that's going to really get much forward momentum for that 6-car quite yet, but I mean, yeah, look out for this 6 of Connor Daly. He is going to run aggressive late in this race. I think right now just learning, trying to understand how this car drives and how this racetrack drives. I'm sure maybe not a combination he's too familiar with as someone who runs the real-life IndyCar series. And, well, we're talking about a Cup car that has not seen the light of day quite yet, at least in its official form, and a racetrack that, of course, doesn't exist in real life. So a bit of a different world for him to work with in Splash.
Yeah, but the end result is still the same. He wants to win. And actually, I was going to make note, he had pushed, I believe it was Harrington, to the lead right before he was freight trained there and fell all the way back on the last lap of that first segment. But that actually saved him from being involved in that massive pileup we saw coming to the checkered flag right there. So he still has all 4 fenders on that race car. Could it be enough to try and get a win here on the iRacing circuit? Next time by, 5 laps to go.
Now it looks like he's once again trying to get that high line going with Presley Sora up there. Just can't seem to quite get going. I don't know if Jacob Adams looks like he's peeking out there, but he doesn't seem very committed to it. And I think we're going to settle back down here and maybe take another run at. Here we go, actually.
You know, at least 3 cars want to work that outside line, the 6, the 25, and the 98, and that's exactly what they are doing. They've been able to work that outside line up to 2nd place. That's the closest they have been all segment long. Here comes Jacob Adams, excuse me. A lot of J names in the top 4 right now.
Yeah, we got Jared, we got Josh, we got Johnny, and we got Jacob all inside the top 5. Presley breaking up that J train right here.
Right now, no one's had anything for the 10 car. Jared Rexing looking to try and bring it on home much cleaner than what we saw to end segment 1.
Yeah, I think we're going to start seeing guys get a little bit more aggressive. You're seeing that 8 car maybe peeking those out as well, whether that's for cooling or trying to think. But Presley Sora is making some great forward momentum here. He's moved his way up into the 4th position. He's making that outside lane follow and form behind him. Here we go. We've got 3 cars on the top, 4 cars on the bottom, so maybe not quite the momentum you need on the top. And in fact, Daly backs out to the bottom lane, but man, they're starting to think about it. They're starting to work together a plan to try and go after Jared Rexing, who has led really from this drop the green flag of this 2nd stage.
Right now, I feel like the energy has to come from the 3rd place on back. If you're going to try and make a move, that's where it's going to have to filter out from. And we see Connor Daly. We know there are some takers in that outside line. The question is Josh Robin just trying to hang on until that last lap?
Yeah, something happened here to Presley Sora. He's kind of dropped off the back of this lead pack. Maybe just trying to build up a run. Kind of give up some of the momentum early on here. Use that draft and really try to get to the back of some other car so that they can try and get something working here. We'll keep an eye out on this 98 car because he is back in contention now with the rest of this pack.
These guys, the leaders, are starting to put on a show up front, but as they continue to put on a show, they are also running down some lap traffic. It'll be interesting to see. Those guys are fighting to stay perhaps on the lead lap. What the 10 car and the 8 car decide to do. Do they navigate around them? Do they go to the outside? They do. That is the 41, the 26, and the 11, all being lapped by the 10, the 8, and the 91. They moved to the outside line. First time we've seen that outside line work, as much faster cars go around that top side, and they're able to duck down low. The 25 car, can he clear himself in front of the wounded car? That is Kyle Busch, and at the stripe it'll be 2 laps to go. No. Looks like Kyle Busch fighting back on the outside, and look who will be using that lap car of Kyle Busch as a pick. It will be that 54 car.
Yeah, Tyler Dixon, look at him go. There you see no love there for that that number 98, or excuse me, that number 25 of Jacob Adams. He takes a long time there to get by Kyle Busch and going to lose a ton of position and a ton of momentum. Now 1.5 seconds back from the lead with just a lap and a half to go in this segment.
Here comes, you saw a little bit of a run. The 8 car, he had the ability to pull out right there. It's Connor Daly. Looks to the outside for 3rd place. He's been connected to the back bumper of the 10. The 8 car has been. Question remains, though, will he be so for this last lap? Green and white checker will fly next time by. 1 lap for Jared Rexing in that 10 car. Can he hang on? Does the 8 or perhaps Johnny Thomas in that 91 get around him? Here comes a big run. 91 with Connor Daly to the outside. The last lap of segment 2. Side by side entering turn number 1. You see Josh Robbins almost get to the side of the 91 right there, and that kind of broke up the momentum stacked up by the 91 and that 9. But now they're going to have another shot at it.
And we got to watch out for this. I believe it's Chris White they're coming up on, another lap car. We'll see if this factors into how they finish this.
Like
so far, no takers in that outside line. Nobody making a charge. Josh Robbins has stayed connected to the back bumper of that 10 car. Jared Rexing looking to make sure he gets that 2nd starting position to start segment number 3. He'll do so, winning in front of Josh Robbins. It's Jared Rexing in that 10 car to win segment 2.
There you go. Rexing then takes it, like you said, over Robin. You got Tyler Dixon doing a great job there, grabbing that 3rd position. Presley Sora in 4th. Johnny Thomas rounds out that top 5. So again, another intriguing segment, a much cleaner finish to this segment. That's kind of what we were looking for, and now we're probably going to head back, and I'd say probably 7 laps or so in this final segment. It's going to go by really quick here. Going to be very intriguing to see just how aggressive these guys start going now that you've got the entire Clash victory on the line.
Speaking of aggressive here, that's something that I remember from last season is how aggressive that pace car does to try and get in front. I swear, the pace car driver of the iRacing should be in the race, no matter what race. You are in that pace car driver is trying to make sure he gets out front. But Jared Rexing, and we'll have William Harrington lead what should be only 8 laps to go, and pit road is going to be open, I believe, this time by.
If it operates the same way that we did in the Open, pits will open this time by, and they will also make it the 1 to go. So guys will pretty much come right off pit road and immediately double up so that we can get as many green flag laps in as possible here in this final segment.
Looking at the front of the field, a couple of takers. Perhaps not. Huh? You see, the 10 is going to be in. Looks like the 98 stays out as well as the 91, the 8 as well. And wow, whoever that was, I would imagine that would be a commitment cone violation.
Yeah,
I'm very clear. I don't know the iRacing Superspeedway rules. The commitment cone itself is into proper pit road, kind of like it is at Milwaukee. But at Milwaukee, there is still that area where you can get an unsafe pit entry violation if you cross over the yellow line too late. I'll be very interested to see how that is ruled, because I'll be honest, I don't know.
Yeah, very interesting. And here we got the wave around car. Ethan Burrell, that 37, there is some damage on it, but not terrible there. He might have lost that lap because of that incident that he had with teammate David Tooker, but don't count out this 37. That rear panel might be missing. So we'll see about the pace on this 37 of Ethan Burrell, but he might still be in this as well as he comes back to join the lead lap here for this final stage.
All right, so our final segment going to consist of just 10 laps. Well, 10 lap segment, but we will have, I believe, 8 to go the next time by. And a quick reminder that our racing coverage, tonight's racing coverage, is presented to you also by C2 Freight Resources, by Blue Egg Marketing, the marketing department for small businesses, and by Lintz Creative Web Development and Graphic Design. William Harrington going to go ahead and inherit the lead after winning stage 1. Should be joined on the outside by Jared Rexing in a moment. And I'm not actually so sure that these guys are going to be able to go green this time.
Yeah,
I don't
think
think
they have to wait for,
they're going to have to add another lap.
Yeah, I think to let Jared Rexing assume his position back at the front, you're going to need to come around at least one more time, probably. We'll see.
He does so. And it looks like that pace car will get one more lap.
Well, that gives us a chance. I do want to mention some of the YouTube comments we've gotten so far. We have Matthew Weeks chiming in. It's weird seeing somebody in my number. Obviously, Kyle Busch running the 11 car, which that's weird in and of itself, honestly. Kyle Busch in the 11 rather than the 18. But that's especially weird, apparently, for Matthew Weeks watching here on the Elite Racing Network, because we're used to seeing him in the 11 here in Elite. And, of course, we also have Justin Mons.
Find out this way. We found someone else to take over the ride. No joke.
Yeah, you're fired, Matthew. Sorry, I got the bad news. Justin Mons also chiming in. Glad I didn't make my debut here. I'm sure there's a lot of people watching and glad to be watching instead of in the midst of this, especially what I think is going to be a pretty wild last segment.
Oh, right now we know what is on the line right here, so we know how crazy things can get just at the end of segment 1. I do expect that anticipation to return because, well, to be honest, only $20 is on the line, but bragging rights and TV time. You want to be the first. It doesn't matter if it's for $20. It doesn't matter if it's for 2 cents. You want to be the first guy across that start-finish line, and you want to be able to tell everybody else you beat them.
Absolutely. You won the first race of 2021B, and look, I know it's not Daytona, but if you can go into Daytona with this win and have a little bit of confidence in your Superspeedway program, doesn't suck.
Yeah, especially
not many people can say that they beat Connor Daly and Kyle Busch.
Exactly. No, it's especially with now how similar these these next-gen cars should handle and drive like the Daytona cars with that spacer still installed. That completely changes just how important this race is. You learn how to drive around some of these guys around you, and that does make a pretty big difference here now for Daytona.
Green flag is about to be out with 7 laps to decide the Lynch Creative Clash. Who will be standing in victory lane? We are about to find out. The green flag is out for the 3rd and final segment underway here at iRacing Superspeedway.
Immediately there you see Presley Sora trying to get to that bottom lane, and it's kind of been the second-place starter who's made some pretty good starts here, but William Harrington's going to fall back as Connor Daly really pushes Presley Sora to the lead, and you've got now Sora over Daly leading the way on this bottom lane, and Jared Rexing in 3rd position. In fact, William Harrington really falling back here on that top lane.
Yeah, we just have not seen, actually, the guy that's been able to fire off first really haven't fared out for him by the beginning of turn number 1 on a restart there, and up front, Presley Sora, he was the one that was black flagged there to begin, I believe. What was it? Was it segment 2? I thought it was the 98, but it was on that restart there. I'm sorry, it was in segment 1 for our first caution. He was black flagged for a pass. He made that much easier and much more legal. This time it's worked out in his favor with the lead. Connor Daly, though, in that 6th car, that's the furthest we've seen him up front in 2nd position there with a shot to win this thing.
And now we wait and see, when does somebody make a move? When can somebody build that run to try and make it around the outside of Presley Sora? He's definitely in the catbird seat right now, but you've got to think it's going to be a little more antsy this time around in the final stage.
Golden car Ethan Burrell will give way, yield to the leaders as Connor Daly applying some pressure on the back bumper of that 98 car, and Jared Rexing looking perhaps to go with them, perhaps not.
Yeah, right now everyone's staying single file, but I'm hoping everyone here has learned their lesson from the Jeff Green incident of maybe not pushing too hard here with so few laps. As we've got guys maybe a little bit loose off of turn 4 there, a little bit further back.
That looked almost big, about 4th place on back, as we saw the 99 and perhaps the 8 car of Josh Robin get into it just ever so slightly, but that allowed the front 4 to try and get away.
Up front,
Connor Daly sizing up Presley Sora as they round with 5 laps to go. Make it 4 next time by. I'm interested to see if Connor Daly or Jared Rexing, do they decide to show their hand early? Do they work together, or are they waiting to that last lap?
I definitely think they're going to have to work together. And I think you almost need...
On the apron, turn number 3. I don't know if that was going to be a spin or not. He gathered it up.
It looks like it was Gerald Campbell, one of the cars that lost a lot of ground there, and he is indeed backwards into grass there in the inside of the corner there.
There you see Gerald Campbell.
He's the defending champion.
Stay off the track,
not going to be a factor to this one, but not going to pull out the yellow flag.
Wow.
Upside down. Perhaps that does bring out the yellow.
All right.
It does. And new for this season, we will have up to 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. I saw somebody get loose. It was Gerald Campbell's first. Looked like something correction hard into the outside wall.
It was Johnny Thomas and William Harrington both involved in that.
And there's the flip. William Harrington just high-siding after it came off the banking. Definitely an odd one, but, man, a hard impact for all of those cars.
Yeah, no kidding at all.
It's unfortunate. That was our segment 1 winner who actually started this segment on the pole. So that is going to bring us, I believe, into overtime here. Perhaps if we actually, it might get us into the scheduled race distance, so that would not be considered an overtime if we're under the yellow and get the 1 to go signal next time by.
Yeah, let's take a look and see exactly how this plays out now. I wonder if we're going to get that call to go white checker appearance.
Oh, it will be. Okay. I was talking
so.
to Chad earlier, and he told us, or he told me that they had 3 attempts.
All right. Well, I'm going to trust what Chad says rather than what I know. So, what Chad?
It was new for this season.
There we go.
For this season.
All right. Perfect. This is what I get for missing the meeting earlier today. But yeah, no. So 3 green white checker attempts. That's going to completely change this up. In terms of just now, guys know they can go pretty aggressive here on this because they've got a shot if we get that yellow flag to come out before the white flag.
And hey, let's look at this. These front 2 rows going into this restart. I mean, up front you have Presley Sora, who is pretty much the lone IndyCar Series pole winner who accepted this invite into the Clash to start the 2021B season up here, flexing his muscle with the fenders. Then you've got Jared Rexing kind of holding down the fort for the stock car community of Elite on the inside of row 2. Connor Daly, of course, the IndyCar, the professional moonlighting here, make a appearance. And behind him, Michael Goodman, one of the guys who transferred in from the Open up there in 4th. Great run so far for him. Going to be very interesting to see who comes out on top.
Now, my question right here remains that we have not seen it fare well at all for the leader on any of the restarts that we've had. So is Presley Sora a sitting duck heading in with 2 laps to go?
I have to think so. I mean, like you said, nobody has really had a good restart from that lead. I think guys have just, and that's something that we're not used to seeing simply just in iRacing in general, but it just hasn't been working, and I'm inclined to say that it's not going to work again here. We'll find out in just a few seconds, but man, oh man, that you do not want to be that pole sitter here heading into a restart.
Connor Daly on the outside. Presley Sora on the inside, and 2 laps to settle it out. The Lintz Creative Clash. It's going to come down to a shootout. Jared Rexing in that 98 car. And the inside line goes with the advantage. But fighting back is the 6 car of Connor Daly. And he has help from the 44.
Now let's see if this outside lane can get momentum. The inside right now looks fast. Great restart from Presley Sora, and they're around.
Big scratch in turn number 2, and that will place us under caution once again, in a hellacious impact by one of these competitors. I believe it was the 99, just broadsided hard into the outside wall, and then joined by another one who sandwiched him in there again.
Yeah, let's head back to this replay. So we'll head to our second green-white checker attempt now. With that incident, it was Brandon Key involved in that. Tyler Dixon, Brandon Key, let's take a look.
Look at this wicked impact right here. Thankfully, this is not real life, because that would have been, it was the 92, and that would have been just horrible.
Yeah, Chad
Horrific.
Thornquist, Brandon Key, as well as Tyler Dixon all involved in that incident there.
And Thornquist, they're really just an innocent bystander. You saw the Brandon Key and Tyler Dixon make a little bit of contact, and that was enough to trigger that melee. And poor Chad Thornquist really had nowhere to go, just minding his own business on the inside line. And next thing he knows, he's up against the outside wall. Oh, hey, we're about to find out exactly what it looked like for him.
Yeah, here we go. On board with Chad Thornquist. Just completely blindsided, like you said there. And yeah, hard impact into that outside wall. Nowhere for Thornquist to go there.
I definitely see why this is on iRacing and not in real life, because that would have just been absolutely horrific. I mean, just the impact of going head on into the wall and then joined by another person sandwiching you in there, just not good at all. So we have a second attempt at a green-white checkered. It worked out in favor of the 98 and the 10 car this time. However, this time they're going to be separated. Josh Robin in that 8 car and Connor Daly on the outside lane right behind him.
Yeah, looking forward to getting this next restart here underway as the guys pacing around right now, just getting back in the correct order. Lights still on that pace car, so I think we'll have one more lap here at the very least before we get to our second of 3 green-white checker attempts. I'm curious to see how these guys race. They made it one corner there. In that first attempt, guys getting aggressive here, really wanting to win this clash here to start this season, but it was happening a little bit further back in the pack, not necessarily, far forward like you might have expected, fighting for the lead.
Yeah, we're running out of race cars here, really. Just try and settle it. All for $20. But hey, as we had already mentioned before, it doesn't matter what you're racing for. You just want to win. And right now, that 98 car has a shot. I was impressed, like I mentioned earlier, with how he was able to inherit and keep the lead on that restart here. But the guy that was pushing him there is now going to be his adversary. He's going to be on the outside, that 10 car.
So now, once again, we're going to have to see exactly where, who comes out on top on this restart. Will it be the, okay, we've got a car going around under caution. Well, that's cool.
Don't know who that was.
I believe that was Dallas Myhan. Yes,
yeah.
Dallas Myhan going around. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, you're seeing everything here tonight, folks, here at the iRacing Superspeedway.
We're all shaking off the cobwebs here, including what to do under caution, apparently.
Well, I mean, in the open, we did unfortunately see one massive incident on restart where we had the leader, let's just say, not in the right gear on the restart. So it's preseason for everybody. That ended up being a big deal when that was over, because when the leader is supposed to go and he's in 4th or 5th gear, it's not a good time.
All right. So our first attempt at a green-white checkered here is about to get underway. Just 9 cars with a shot of getting to victory lane at the iRacing Superspeedway. Presley Sora and Jared Rexing lead them down. Green flag is back out. Already you see the 25 car duck underneath that yellow line that's out of bounds. He gives it back. Outside line now, help from Connor Daly, the 10 car. Jared Rexing gets a big shove of momentum and he'll switch the lead heading into turn 1.
Yeah, there you see that again, that outside lane with a great restart. Jared Rexing now a long way ahead of the rest of the pack. They'll catch up to him eventually, but gives him a nice little breath of fresh air here early on. A couple of guys going underneath that yellow line, but everyone else not really making too many major moves here. It looks right now like a 3-horse race for this lead.
Oh, a lot of breaking the draft down this very long backstretch as you see the 98 get to the back bumper of the 10. Connor Daly's been able to get up to third in the 25. Trying to make something happen. They're going to face the white flag this time by. The next flag will end the race. 1 lap to go for Jared Rexing, winner of segment 2, and the 98 pokes at a line right at the stripe. 9 car didn't go with him. 6 car. Connor Daly did not go with him. They're side by side for the lead entering turn 1.
Here. Alex Van de Sand on the high side, ripping the cushion, and he loses his help. He's going to drop like a rock now, but man, I thought he was coming.
Yeah,
watch that 6-car Connor Daly, though. He's going to get a big run. They're making contact behind him, and Josh Adams in the 25.
They should run to the finish, though. I don't think that yellow flag is going to wave quite yet. Looks like they're still on throttle for these 2 guys.
So that's Jared Rexing and Connor Daly leading the way as they're going to race it to the checkered. I think Jared's going to have this one unless Connor can get a massive run out of the corner.
Turn 4 for the final time. The Lintz Creative Clash will be all about survival. It'll be all about the 10-car. Jared Rexing pulls off the upset and hangs on to win the Lintz Creative Clash for Elite Racing League beginning the 2021 B season.
Man, oh man, what a crazy race. What a way to start things off here. Yeah, like you said, Rexing there, impressive drive. Really just a dominant force all night here. That 10-car looked so strong. Connor Daly, Michael Goodman grabbing 3rd place as he gives a nice little celebratory tap to Jared Rexing there. Yeah, man, what a crazy race and what a way to get this season underway.
Yeah, I believe what really hurt Daly was the fact that the help that would have come from that behind him kind of wrecked. And that just destroyed any momentum that he had by that point entering turn number 3. Oh, the 66 of Harrington. He had enough damage. And Kyle Busch gets a playful bump into the 10-car as well, but Jared Rexing, at least that happened all after the checkered flag. Doing a great job putting that 10-car to victory lane for the first time this season.
Yeah, great job there, and certainly not free of any kind of incident from that 10-car. Involved in 1 or 2 during that race and maybe just a couple of bumps, but great pace overall. Sorry, Zach, there.
Oh, no, I mean, I was just going to ask, is everybody excited Elite is back for 2021B now? Are you not entertained yet?
Man, Are you not entertained? Yes. Great comment there, Zach, because I am so ready. I cannot believe we got to wait 1 more week to see these guys entering the duels for Daytona.
Yeah, it's going to be one hell of a season. So many new factors here. We've got guys that, maybe we haven't seen in the past kind of starting to compete for wins, guys who've improved, new drivers in the Cup Series, new teams in the Cup Series. I mean, so many new things, changing here. Obviously, for myself, happy to have Alex back in the booth with me. It's going to be a lot of fun this season, man. And, yeah, of course, we're going to have a ton of fun. The racing's going to be great. And, Zach, I'm hoping that the rest of your season goes a little bit better than the Open earlier tonight.
Well, it certainly could go a little bit smoother, but hey, that's Superspeedway races. Now we're going to take a look at the final rundown from our Lintz Creative Clash.
You can see Jared Rexing hanging on. Connor Daly, IndyCar star, doing a great job bringing it home in 2nd place. See Michael Goodman in that 22. Harrison Talon, he was able to come up to 4th after being involved. That's crisis. And look at Hasten Burrell. Yeah. He got the wave around twice, ended it in 5th.
That just shows how crazy that final lap was. Dallas Myhand, we saw him spin under caution, comes home 6th. Kyle Busch with that massive damage on that car crossing the line in P8. That is a ridiculous finishing order there in terms of how that all, came out, and that's all down to just the fact that a lot of guys got taken out there in that final lap. But we'll talk to one of the guys who didn't, one of the guys who came home in the top 3 coming in from the Open. Michael Goodman, man, what a race, what an evening it's been for you, winning your way into this clash, and of course finishing it off P3. What a great way to start off your 2021 B season.
Yeah, thanks guys, that was awesome to be up front there at the end, and Yeah, for the most part, I think you had to kind of stay on the bottom and try to stay out of a lot of wrecks. I feel like even the open kind of backdoored my way in and just survived at the end and got a pretty good result.
Jared, can you talk to us a little bit about just what it was like to kind of survive that first segment? It got pretty intense coming to the checkered flag. What did you take away from that, and how did you apply that to win both the second segment and obviously the race?
Well, that was Rexing who won the second segment, but it got pretty aggressive there. Oh yeah, you're good.
I'm so sorry.
No, but I was up there in that first segment, and to be honest, I don't know how I got through it. I think I got in the back end of Kyle and just luckily just had a little bit of front end damage and nothing too bad that I couldn't fix. Just kind of staying within the hunt and stay competitive. But yeah, Rexing, man, he he was giving it a whale of a show out there today, and he could make the outside line work probably about as good as anyone out there. And hats off to him. That was an awesome run for Rexing.
Michael, obviously it would have been a lot less stressful if you could have just been in the clash outright. But do you think being able to run in the open and get 20 laps in this car at this track going in helped a little bit know what to expect for this race?
Yeah, I mean, basically just knew how to hug, just had to hug the bottom, really. I mean, I was even letting guys kind of go on the outside, let that run kind of for the most part of the race. And there's a couple times I got bored and was playing around with it. But yeah, most of the time you just had to stick to the bottom and wait for wait for the chaos to happen, and you'd more than likely be in a pretty good spot.
All right. Well, Michael, we're going to let you walk away here. P3, of course. I want to give you a chance for the first time this season to make some shout-outs.
Ooh, this is probably the first time ever. I'd like to thank Do Good Motorsports, all my teammates. It was pretty cool to get 4 of us into the clash here tonight. That was pretty awesome. And of course, Miss Goodies, Mama. I hope you're watching. Hope I made you proud. Getting a P3, that's pretty awesome. And of course, thank you guys for broadcasting the race tonight. It was pretty good. Hopefully, put on a pretty good show. I know at some points it wasn't the best, but thanks for making it as exciting as it could be. So thank you very much.
All right, congratulations, man.
Yep, thank you.
Now we're going to talk to our first place winner. I'm sorry, I was busy typing and I didn't catch the first name, so good job there, Michael. But we're going to bring in Jared Rexing here, and I believe momentarily.
All right, yeah, we'll bring him in. Our race winner then, man, who really just dominated the day up front all day long. Jared Rexing, man, what a drive, and of course, what a win to start off this 2021 B season.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
Oh, well, Jared, let's talk about your day getting here. I mean, it was quite exciting, basically from the drop of the green flag. I'd already asked this question, but it was to you, but I wanted to get your answer. What did you take away from that first segment that kind of gave you the chance you needed to win both segment 2 and ultimately the race?
Yeah, the first segment, I mean, you're just learning the car, the track, the package, and it was obviously one lane on the bottom the way to go. So I basically you just had to try to set your strategy up to be first on the bottom, and it'd be pretty hard to lose the race if you're first on the inside.
But we did see you start actually at a disadvantage on the outside lane. Talk us through that third and final segment there, how you were able to negotiate that traffic and wrestle it around from that disadvantage to starting on the outside lane.
Yeah, the inside just didn't get formed on that last restart, and I don't remember who was on the inside. He didn't have any help. Connor on the outside gave me a big shove. I dropped to the bottom as soon as I could, and that was it pretty much.
I mean, you mentioned, Connor Daly giving you that huge shove to help you get out front. Had to be pretty cool. I would imagine having, one of the real-life stars, IndyCar, big name like Connor Daly involved in helping you get this win.
Yeah, that was awesome, no doubt, to be able to race with a real-life IndyCar driver, have him push me to the win. There's a little bit of pressure there, I'm thinking, he's got more experience than any of us. He's going to get it, but to be able to hold him off was really cool.
All right, well, this race is not going to be featured from here on out from the Elite Racing League Season B, but what takeaway did you take to start your season from this, and what could you perhaps apply from tonight into Daytona next week?
Right. Yeah, I think the package for this race is the same that we'll see at Daytona. So, Daytona is not going to be one groove on the bottom, but a lot of the drafting characteristics will be the same. It's hard to get runs. If you want to get a push, you're going to have to drag the brake a little bit. So we all learned something, even though if it wasn't the most entertaining thing out there. But, going into Daytona with the duels next week, having that drafting experience should help a good bit.
All right, man. Well, we're going to let you go here, but first we want to give you the chance to make some shout-outs here on the air.
Yeah, I'll make a shout-out to Connor Daly for the awesome push on the outside of that restart. And I don't know if you guys know, but that was actually Brexton Bush driving for Kyle the last 30 or so laps.
Really?
So shout out to Brexton for getting P8 there at the end with that car.
Incredible.
That is awesome to hear. We're just glad to have him. Glad to have everybody on tonight. I mean, it was just a great reminder of what we all love, which is racing. And glad to see you bring it home in victory lane there, Jared. So great job to you.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Appreciate it.
All right, there you go. Your race winner for the Clash, the Lintz Creative Clash here. Jared Rex, and you see it there on your screen. Beating out Connor Daly and Michael Goodman. Man, what a way to start this season. It's so exciting. Great racing here. Obviously, we'll go back to the real-life racetracks, but a great way to kind of launch this next-gen Cup Series car. And, like you were saying, Alex, I cannot wait for the duels next week.
Yeah, that's going to be some action. I cannot wait. And I definitely put on whatever you use to follow us on YouTube, on Twitch, and your Google calendar, because next week and the weeks after are going to be exciting on Wednesday night. I want to thank everyone for the chance to call this race, including Chad. And then I also want to thank our title sponsor there, Lintz Creative. Lintz Creative Web Development and Graphic Design. I want to say that correctly. Again, for them being the title sponsor for tonight's race. So glad to have you on board. Then I also want to thank you, Zach. Sorry you couldn't make it into the big show there, but you learned something, and hopefully you'll have to apply that to your next outing for your debut here later on.
Definitely a lot of fun up here in the booth, but and got some practice for when I'll be in the booth on Sundays with the Old Testament Firearms Truck Series, but also learned some valuable stuff to take over to the old Country Cozy Me Fine Ford Mustang for when this Cup Series gets underway starting here in a couple of weeks. So pretty excited about all of that, and gosh, just ready to get this season properly underway.
I'm so excited to have everybody on board and to have everybody seem like they're in great headspace in order to get this season underway. And like I said, our Daytona 500, the duel for Daytona, both of those are going to be 50 laps to see who races their way in. You don't want to miss all the action, all the drama unfolding. It'll be right here on this YouTube channel beginning at 8:30 Eastern Time. Join me and Rich will be covering that action, the Cup side there. Then Zach, we wish you best of luck for the Sunday truck coverage for the Elite Racing League as we get the season officially underway.
Oh, that's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of new names. Really exciting schedule. I mean, just always love seeing the trucks here at Elite, and looking forward to bringing that to the people here and starting again in just 2 or 3 weeks away with no other place in Daytona.
All right, final thoughts there, Rashad?
Yeah, man, I cannot wait to get this season underway. Really intriguing to seeing how these cars race. Obviously, those engine issues we saw with Jeff Green, those are things that still stick with me that I'm going to look out for here once, in 2 weeks' time for the Daytona 500, and heck, even in the duels next week. So, a lot of things are changing. A lot of, like I said during the broadcast, a lot of new things going on this season. I'm just looking forward to a fresh slate, a clean slate, and man, I've got a good feeling that we may have a first-time winner here at the Daytona 500 in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. You won't want to miss it. Well, from all of us here for the Elite Racing League, we are going to sign off. We hope you join us next week. Again, those Daytona 500 duels beginning at 8:30 right here on YouTube. I'm Alexander Ned. You've been joined by Rashad and Zach. We will see you guys next time right here on YouTube. So long from the iRacing Superspeedway. We'll see you then.